So from the earliest days, Ripple has been focused on solving the problem around cross-border payments. It's slow, it's expensive, and we use a digital asset called XRP to help speed that up, make it very inexpensive and very reliable. But the challenge, as you know well, is the U.S. has had this very hostile. The Biden administration has been waging a war on crypto, and I think an unlawful war. Courts have agreed with us on that. And we're finally seeing that kind of unlocked in a Trump embraced crypto, and crypto embraced Trump. And I think we're seeing that reflect in kind of how the markets have reacted since the election.
So for Ripple, do you think that this also unlocks new revenue opportunities for you in the U.S.? Because I know the customer base largely outside the U.S.
You're exactly right. You know, the United States SEC filed a lawsuit about what is XRP 4 years ago. And so it kind of froze the U.S. market opportunity for us. You know, if you're a U.S. bank or U.S. financial institution, you're like, let's just wait and see how this plays out. So sure. 95% of our customers are outside the United States. And finally, I think we're at a point where we can actually see growth and see the crypto industry thrive here in the United States. The largest economy in the world has really been leaning out of the crypto economy.
And giving it up to China.
There's no question. Like, it's growing in the UK, it's growing in Japan, it's growing in Switzerland. I mean, these are big economies that are leaning, you know, the U.S. really has been the outlier in many ways.
Yeah,
I think the unique positioning on the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, I think if this happens, this will be one of the most important economic announcements in U.S. history. I think it'd be on par with 1971 and Nixon. However, what I think is not being talked about enough is it's positive, Caroline. It's positive.
Because you'd have to go out there and buy in the market, but will that actually happen?
No, my meaning is this. In 1933, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're taking all your gold. In 1971, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're divorcing ourselves from the gold standard so we can print money. In 2008, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? It was we're bailing out all the big banks that misbehaved. In 2025, if the U.S. has a really big economic announcement, what is it? It's we're pro-technology, we're pro-innovation. What principles and morals and ethical alignment does Bitcoin have? Equal rights, equal opportunity, an open network. These are American ideals, American values. This is an asset that was accessible to the people 15 years ago that the people own. Governments only own 2, 3, 4% of this asset. This asset is held by the people. It acts in the best interest of the public. It's pro-jobs, it's pro-energy, it's pro-industry, it's pro-growth. And does anyone else have a plan to get us out of debt? Are we going to start a lemonade stand out here in Times Square? No, how about the best performing asset in the history of mankind? We lean into it, we buy it. Coinbase is an American company, Strike's an American company, Kraken's an American company, Tether sells the US dollar. Let's support these businesses, let's support this industry.
But the market cap is less than Nvidia for the entire crypto ecosystem. When does that become bigger?
I think when people buy it, listen, I think that ego gets in the way of many people. People think they're late to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, right? I think that late according to who? Oh, because you're comparing yourself to Michael Saylor, you're comparing yourself to your college roommate, you're comparing yourself to your coworker. Over the last 15 years, the best thing you could have done is buy Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be true for the next 1,500 years. And so as a country, I think we have a choice. I think everyone else around the world is understanding we are pro-growth, pro-business, pro-Bitcoin as this new administration takes office. And we have to make a decision. I think the worst thing we can do is not own enough. And actually, to de-risk this, we should buy some and push these American ideals in technology and innovation and growth through the best performing asset and technology in mankind.
So the price of Bitcoin near an all-time high, getting closer now to the $94,000 level. And this happening as ETF options going live, giving investors a new way to hedge their exposure. Kenzie Segalis is here, joins us with more this morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
So what's going on?
Is what U.S. crypto investors have been waiting for. On Tuesday, the Nasdaq listed options on BlackRock's $44 billion spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, day one of trading showed that more than 80% of options volume were call orders to buy Bitcoin, meaning that investors are betting that the token is poised for even more gains. And this is just the first of the U.S.-based asset issuers to offer options. The other 10 providers will soon follow suit, with several more slated to list on the New York Stock Exchange later today. Now, this is really a significant significant moment for Bitcoin adoption because rather than just buying and holding the asset, this next stage is all about creating a new margin framework for Bitcoin so that you can amplify your returns. Being able to hedge positions and make leveraged bets is a big draw both to retail and to institutions. And even though we've seen a lot of trading volume on the CME derivatives exchange, getting options tied to these spot crypto products on the NASDAQ and NYSE is a big unlock for traders because ultimately, Andrew, a more robust onshore derivatives market is how you attract fresh investment, which is a tailwind for the price of Bitcoin.
It really boggles the mind what I was just thinking about. You could write calls. You could write calls. You could buy puts to protect your downside. You could sell puts to acquire Bitcoin at a lower price than where it is. You can do spreads. You can do straddles. The volatility is so high, the option premiums must be exorbitant. So you could sell options.
But so the question is, does the volatility come down materially?
And that's what a lot of analysts say will happen.
Yeah. If that happens, but does that then put a cap on it, or does that?
Can it happen? Because that's a tail wagging the dog. Because Bitcoin is in here. Yeah, but by definition, Bitcoin has been volatile. Do you think options really could lessen the volatility of the underlying asset?
I mean, that's what some analysts are saying, especially as you build out a more robust market infrastructure around this, you bring in more institutional money. And what I will say in terms of like building out what you can do with these spot crypto products, you've got Grayscale updating its prospectus just this week to do a covered call ETF for Bitcoin. So you're seeing that those are the products that these issuers are indexing toward rather than having, spot funds around all of these altcoins.
Because you just mentioned 80% of the volume is in calls, so that must mean they're rich premiums, and the calls, you could sell those, and if it doesn't hit it, you just keep that premium.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it protects your downside if it goes down a little.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Brad Garlinghouse on the U.S. is ready to control crypto. But 95% of Ripple's business is outside the United States. And guys, we know why. The central banks want the emerging markets to rise first so the United States can follow. Because the world reserve currency is about to end. We're about to go to a level playing field. And it's going to be the rise of the BRICS nations led by China with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And that's the reason why we have Jack Mallers on Bitcoin Reserve. Says it'll be a game changer for the United States and could get the U.S. out of all this debt. But remember, guys, this is all about the fourth industrial revolution. The narrative that they're spinning in the media is that the Bitcoin Reserve is to get rid of this debt. Remember, if you're printing the money in your own currency, there is no such thing as debt. They want to bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones to take this economy over. And with digital assets, the machines now have money. They can run this economy without a human involved. And we have Bitcoin spot ETF options launching. Of course, it's helping the price, but like I stated earlier, we're not getting the pump that I expected. Now, they say that 85% of these are calls. They're looking at longing. But, guys, we know eventually the puts are coming in. We know the hedge fund guys are coming in. We know the big banks are coming in to go ahead and short it on down. And if you've been with the Crypto Teacher from the beginning, we are ready for the roller coaster. We know it's going to take 3 to 5 years to build this fourth industrial revolution. So we're definitely going to be on a roller coaster ride, stocks and cryptos. And like I always tell you, the first quarter of each year, we always get a big pullback, but we also get a movie. And we have plenty of geopolitical events that they can pull from. And then, guys, of course, we have the BOJ. And we know the BOJ is eventually going to raise rates. They're behind the curtain. Absolutely nobody is even thinking about the BOJ. If you're a trader, and if you're an investor, you better be watching the BOJ, because as soon as they start raising rates, there's definitely going to be a rumble in this economy. And then on top of it, if Trump really does these tariffs, we'll get a trade war sooner than expected, plus a currency war. Remember, they have to bring the United States and China into collision, into a battle. But don't forget, the banks always fund both sides. And it's all so they can bring in this new digital economy. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then we have Doge. We have Vivek on Doge. And I told you what they was going to do. They're going to make all these expenses public so then therefore the people can cheer it on while people are getting laid off, where you have real families being affected when you say, hey, cut this, cut that. They're not telling you how many employees that are in that sector that are going to be affected. And if you're cutting $2 trillion, there's going to be a lot of people affected. But that's the reason why, guys, we know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction and run in with the solution. And that's the reason why we have universal basic income running right behind it. Remember, they already did the simulation doing the C word. You'll be able to get that free money. But that free money comes with a smart contract. So little do the people know, that money is programmable, telling you what, when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I mean, in Japan, the large corporations really want currency stability so they can plan their expenses, their investments. So when we get the gyrations that we've had this year in currency markets, it really slows down longer-term spending for Japanese companies, and that does eventually feed through into their earnings. So they want to avoid that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more intervention, verbal or actual intervention from Japan again in the coming months, just given the speed of this move. And obviously, Japan is very exposed to the United States. And if we do have a trade war, they're going to get caught in that crossfire.
Part of that process, I'm now all in. I'm focused on making sure that we actually accomplish the goal rather than just talking about it. So to that end, for the next little bit, I'm going to put a pause on the Weekly Truth podcasts. I've enjoyed doing it this year. It's been incredibly fun and entertaining. I've learned from a lot of the guests, and I've enjoyed communicating with all of you. We're going to put that on pause for a little bit. And as you may have heard, Elon and I are going to start a separate track of Dogecasts that explain exactly what we're doing to the public to provide transparency in what is a once-in-a-generation project. We want to bring the public along with us, to lift the curtain, to take us behind the scenes of what actually that waste, fraud, and abuse in government looks like. However bad you think it is, it's probably worse. But we don't want to do this to just expose the problem. We want to do it to solve the problem. So stay tuned. We're going to have more information about when those Dogecasts are going to begin. We are neck deep right now in transitioning to the new dawn on January 20th. But in the meantime, I thank all of you for your journey this year, for joining us. I've loved doing the truth, and we're just going to put it on pause for a little bit to hopefully embark on this new chapter of saving our republic. Stay tuned for further details, and we'll be in touch.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China. But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.